got in a race debate, okay, with someone who, if they're listening, just know I appreciate your views and stuff. But since this is my podcast, I'm going to share my view to the whole world. And I'd love to have you on, by the way.
Wait a minute. Are you talking whether to run a 5K or?
No, a race like your skin color and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
gotcha.
I reposted on Facebook a video that was filmed of some guy at the, what's going on in Seattle. They basically took over. And so this guy, he looked like he was a Native American, and he had a megaphone, and he's announcing to the crowd that
they're all going to hell.
Basically, no. He announced to the crowd that I'm basically paraphrasing, but along the lines that you should give, if you have $10 in your pockets, you should go around, find someone that's African American and give them $10. And if you can't do that, then you're basically don't belong there, along those lines.
Sorry, I just got this visual that finally, after all these years, he gets the reparation and he looks at the bill and it's a white guy on it.
Oh, God.
Here you go.
So what I did was I took that and I put that post on Facebook, and I commented on there on the top. I was like, I said, now suddenly all the white people realize this wasn't for them, and I put ha ha ha, and a couple people laughed, and then this one person who's African American, and they are very, they have a strong opinion about all this stuff, and I feel like they think that all white people are completely racist. And so we got in this debate, and they're, sharing their facts, and I'm sharing mine. And, it just kind of dawned on me, like, okay, I can agree with racism does exist, okay? But I would say that I would say everybody, every people group, no matter what you're, like black, white, Hispanic, Asian, whoever you are, people can be prejudiced towards other people. It doesn't matter what your skin color is, because African American people have this opinion of white people. Okay, white people being racist towards them, that's a racist thing to say.
That's actually, that's
duh,
a racist
you're
brand.
saying that, like, if white people say the same thing about you, like all black people are in poverty and they're just poor and they're all gangster thugs and, they're all racist, that's a racist thing to say.
Yeah, it's a misrepresentation of reality.
Because they're not.
But here's a thought that I don't know if I haven't heard a single person mention this, but go all the way back to the very beginning where what's-his-face white officer kneels down on the neck of
George Floyd.
Don't shoot me. George Floyd. Was he necessarily how do we know that he was racist? Well, maybe was he not just a cop that was abusing someone on the street?
Well,
a suspect.
There's a lot. I mean, there is so much information. I'm hearing every single conspiracy theory you can imagine about this guy, from him being a porn star, a 33rd degree Mason.
Heard he was cloned.
He was dead a long time ago.
He attended his own funeral.
He attended his own funeral. I mean, I've heard all kinds of stuff, and that him and Chauvin, which is I think it's Derek Chauvin, and George Floyd, they worked together, and they had a big prostitute ring going on at this, I don't know, strip club or something, like a business they worked at. And they were laundering, or they had counterfeit money, and George Floyd was stealing it. And they had a hit on him from Derek Chauvin, who killed him. And so I've heard all kinds of different stuff. So
do you know that supposedly the employer that they worked for was a paid actor too, just like they're saying George was a paid actor?
So there's
Chavez was a paid actor.
Yeah, so people are saying that these guys are paid actors, and it's all set up. My opinion, I don't know, man. I don't know what to believe. All I know is I do know that something's fishy, and it's just not right.
Well, I'm just saying that if you see a picture, okay, if you have a test panel, and what does this picture make you think of? What does this picture make you think of? And you have a picture of an officer with a suspect on the ground and his knees on his throat, and one person is of one color and the other is of the other color, does your mind go to racism? Because if it does, you might be a racist thinker. Why does
Well,
it have to mean that at all?
Right. It doesn't have to be. And people want to argue with you, and they show their facts by showing videos. Well, guess what? I can pull up hundreds of videos of white people being killed by black officers, white officers. It just happens. I do agree with the fact that police brutality exists. I do agree with that. And one of the most disturbing ones I've ever seen from police brutality, which was horrific to watch. It was, this dude was assassinated, but it was when I can't even remember his name because I wasn't planning on talking about this, but I wasn't planning on talking about this situation, but some of you that are listening know what I'm getting ready to say. But this white guy, look that up, Charlie. This will be your first task as the researcher. But the white guy that was shot at the hotel by that cop that didn't, he got away with it, man. And on the side of his assault rifle says, "You're effed," but it spells it out.
Huh.
On his
That's creative.
assault rifle. So this cop, this white cop, has this white dude laying down on the ground, and he's horrified. He's so scared. This gun's on him, and he's like stretched out, and he's like, I think he's crying, dude, and he's begging him not to shoot him and kill him. And so the cop was having him do all these commands. He's yelling at him, and he's so scared. He's like, wait, I don't know what to do. And the cop thought he was moving for a gun, which when you see the video, he was not at all. And he just freaking unloaded the clip on him, destroyed that guy.
Or he could have been yelling the commands in order to confuse him purposely so that he wouldn't follow a command and then use that as an excuse to shoot
Yeah.
him.
And I cannot believe there wasn't riots because of that.
When did that happen?
Yeah.
That wasn't, I think that was a couple of years ago. Oh, in Arizona. I believe it was in Arizona. Yeah. Arizona cop kills unarmed white man. But he got acquitted from that, and he didn't get in trouble. So I thought that was pretty amazing to me, man. How that cop got to walk away from all that when. Did you find it?
Yeah, it's just taking a while to load up.
Well,
Oh, you
yeah,
gotta
it's
get-
interesting. Yeah, I think it was. I like the Will Smith quote that there's been this has been going on for a long time. It's just we're seeing more of it on the news. That's the difference. I think there's been police brutality for
Yeah.
hundreds
And
of
that's
years.
just it, though. Like, let's take the racism out of it, and let's confront the fact that there is police brutality, but it's not in the way that the media makes it. It's police brutality is not like all over the place where it's just constantly happening. It's sprinkled and it happens. It's just not constant. Like all police get up and do is go out and murder people. It's just, I think some of those cops have like the little man syndrome, and they get out there and they're in a bad mood, and they hold you down a little too tight, and they have a power trip basically.
Yeah.
So, but we were just talking about racism, and I wanted to really go after that even more. So I was having that conversation with that gentleman, and I was just really, I don't know, I wanted him to understand that people are just prejudiced, and it's human nature to judge others. Like we judge people all the time. All the time we judge people on how they look and how they act. I mean, that's how you pick your spouse out, You judge people on how they look and how they behave. And that's human nature. That's not racism. Now, racism does exist. You do see it. Like I showed proof of that even black people can be racist. There was a video. Did you see that with that Asian man that was attacked by all those
Yeah, heard
African?
about that.
That was so disturbing to watch. I mean, not only did they attack him, they beat him. I forgot what the dude had, what these guys had, but they were beating him.
And some of that, I mean, that's not really racism or prejudice even. That's just being murderously violent. It's just having that's what Jesus calls having murder in your heart.
Well, it's just wrong. And so they try to paint a picture that white people are the ones that are after black people, and that's not true. And another thing I mentioned is, okay, so if white people are racist, then why do so many white people listen to hip hop, watch all the basketball games, which by the way are mostly black people, and every one of those guys are millionaires. All the movie stars and you know, all the actors, all the celebrities that are African American would not be celebrities or famous or wealthy if people weren't watching their movies because they're black.
Well, yeah, you're right. That you can't completely sell out every person in America that's white and say that that person is racist. How do you elect a black president? At least 50.1% of the people in America are not racist enough to elect a black president. If you're really racist, you want to elect a black president. So that fact alone dispels that. But I think it's just what it is the term. It's comical here,
Yeah.
but black and white thinking is actually the term for the thinking error. I used to work with youth in a kind of a court system situation, and we would have a lot of group therapy, and so we would talk about thinking errors. And one of the key thinking errors was all or nothing thinking, and sometimes we call it black and white thinking, meaning that it's like saying everyone is racist. It's easy to do that. It's easy to just go there.
Right.
But it's literally statistically impossible.
Well,
All right, Jason.
You found it?
It's Daniel Shaver.
20 minutes later.
And Daniel Shaver was
He
the
shaves.
guy. He was the
guy
victim.
Yep, the guy that got shot. It was in Mesa, Arizona.
Okay.
The officer that got acquitted was Philip Brailsford.
Okay. Wow. We'll have to get you set up on the Wi-Fi in here so you can be able to find the stuff quicker. That's cool.
It wouldn't load. I got this, and that's all I got.
Oh, okay. Bummer. So, so I found that pretty disturbing about that guy, how he got to walk away. But yeah, racism. I mean, let me ask you this. I was talking to my wife about this. Is there a difference between prejudice and racism?
We've never actually seen your wife. You keep mentioning her.
Well, she's been a part of behind the scenes.
Has anyone seen her? I submit.
I have.
Not you.
I will say this because people are wondering why I haven't had my wife on. There's a reason
She's locked
for
up
it.
in the basement.
No, she's
Okay.
locked in she's shackled in the basement.
I'm not racist either.
Yeah. No, she's actually not ready to come on the show right now. She's got a
Because
lot
she's
of
locked in a cage.
Yeah, no, she's busy right now with things. She's in real estate and whatnot. So, anyways, back to what we were saying.
Somebody has to work.
Yeah, so whatever. I do work, by the
He
way. I
works.
own a moving company and I have other. So I have a podcast. I make millions, dude. You think it's funny, right? I do make millions.
This is just my other podcast.
Don't tell Andre. All right, go ahead. So, what's the difference between racism and prejudice?
Good question. Well, racism is about specifically race. Prejudice can be against any category of people.
Yeah.
But you know what? I had sort of this little bit of an epiphany a second ago that I think the keys behind prejudice or racism, it isn't as much about actually being against a race or against a group of people. It's about being so narcissistic and self-centered about yourself that anything else that comes across that's not like you don't like just because of that reason.
Yeah. Well, that makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
That is such an odd.
I see the ghost too.
You see that
Yeah,
on the
that's
camera?
weird.
Huh. Well, hopefully that doesn't mess up the shot. Maybe it's saying that it's overheating. I'm looking at Charlie's camera, guys. That's pointed on Charlie. Oh, we're retards.
Yeah,
We're
on
total
fire.
retards.
It's on fire.
I can't believe you're seeing this on
Live.
on live. We just had a dumb brain fart moment. I was looking up the camera real quick and I saw the lightning bolt
Mm-hmm.
on Charlie's desk. Charlie,
I made up the ghost thing, by the way.
dude, I wasn't even paying attention to the lightning bolt that's clearly been on your desk
It's
the
a
whole
really
time.
cool graphic by Samsung.
And I look up at the camera, and the way that's cut out like that, it looked like there was some kind of like alert, like a flash alert that was on the camera. And so I'm thinking that the camera's overheating. That's so crazy, dude.
Charlie, don't get upset. I need you to calm down right now.
Just calm
Just calm
down.
down.
So yeah, that's what my take is on racism. And but you know what? I love everybody.